Hi, my name is Miss Melissa, and I am a teaching artist in the PACE program. You might be watching this video in your classroom, or you might be watching this video at home. But no matter where you are, we are going to have fun today. Today we are going to learn about matter, solids, liquids, and gases. We are going to really look at water because water has a very special quality depending on the surrounding climate. Did you know that water could be a liquid or a solid? We are going to be closely looking at that today, and I am going to even show you some pictures of landforms and bodies of water. How would you like to make an iceberg with me today? I hope you would. So let's get started. Before we start, you may be wondering, well, what is matter? Matter has properties, okay? And there are three types of matter, and I mentioned solid, liquids, and gases. So why don't I show you some examples of what those things could be? For example, a solid has to be hard, it's tough. Whenever you touch it, it pretty much stays in place, intact. It's not going to change much. So here's an example of a book, okay? So this book is hard. You know, it's a solid. You can pick it up. You could feel it. I have some other solids. What do you think about this? Could this be a solid? Yeah. You can touch it from all sides. You could feel it. It's hard. It's not going to bend or pour. This is a solid. What about this? Could a tennis shoe be a solid? Sure can. And I have one more solid to show you. What about a pair of scissors? We use this all the time. You have solids everywhere, okay? So now I'm going to show you what liquids are. And I'm sure you're probably thinking in your mind of some liquids. Well, how could we define it? Liquids will be very what? Fluid. Very good. It takes the shape of the container. For example, look what I have here. This is a cup of water. Watch what happens. If I pour it into this cup, did it take the shape of this container? Yeah, it did. And if I keep pouring, it's going to go all the way up and it's going to fit inside of here, right? Okay, so now, can you think of any other liquids besides water? What about, oh, here's one. What about some paint? Now, what happens if I open this and just pour it if I don't have a container? Let's see. Let's do an experiment. You ready? I'm pouring it on a piece of paper. Look at that. And it kind of it's a little thick, but it's still a liquid. Now look. You see? This is how we make spills. Lots of times when people spill things, it's because we have liquids. So if I kept this like this, the paint's just going to eventually, what? Drip off. Very good. Now I have one more liquid to show you. Glue. Is glue a liquid? Yes, it is. Let's see if it can take the shape of this container. I'm just going to pour it out. Let me get a little closer so you could see. Look, it's staying inside of the bowl. If I keep going, it's going to fill up. And you could see all the glue in there, right? I think this is actually a bowl for dip, like for chips. Ooh, speaking of dip, would dip be a liquid? Absolutely. It would take the shape of the container because it moves, right? It's fluid. All right. So those are examples of liquids. Now I'm going to show you the last one, which is gas. Well, what's a gas? Well, a gas can be invisible. Sometimes you can't even see it, and sometimes it's barely visible. So what I want you to do is I want you to pretend that you see an adult cooking on a stove. Okay, can you maybe close your eyes? Let's do this together. Close your eyes and pretend there is someone cooking on the stove. And I don't know, that could be your grandmother, your mother, maybe your aunt. Keep your eyes closed. And I want you to picture this pot of boiling water. And all of a sudden, you see steam rising from the water. Okay? Now open your eyes. What color was that steam? It's kind of clear, like just smoke, huh? So, did you picture something like this? Some steam maybe rising from a pot? That would be a gas, right? Now, have you ever seen someone light a candle? And then what happens when you light a candle? It's like a little flame, is created from the wick inside. And then when you blow a candle out, what happens? All the smoke rises up, right? Can you close your eyes and pretend that you see smoke when I blow out? Let's pretend that I lit this candle, okay? And I'm going to blow it out, and then I want you to close your eyes and see if you can picture the smoke rising. Ready? Here I go. So after I blow it out, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to picture it rising. Ready? Now, pretend you see, what color is that smoke? Pretend you see smoke rising. It has kind of a blackish tint. You can open your eyes. Very good. Thank you for pretending with me. Whenever you have a fire or something like that, usually the smoke will be a little bit gray or black. So it's a little different than steam. And it's visible, but it rises in the air. So would that be a liquid or a gas? It's a gas. Very good. So these were my examples of solids, liquids, and gases. And we're going to really learn about water today and how water is really special because it has a special quality that makes it a solid or a liquid. So let's learn more about that. If you remember what I said about liquids, liquids are what? Are they hard or are they fluid? They're fluid. Very good. Remember, a liquid takes the shape of the container, just like this. And this is, as you can tell, it's water. So water must be a liquid. Very good. Now, I hope you know what ice trays are. Here's an example of an ice tray. I'm sure you do. How many of you have ever seen these in a freezer? I bet a lot of you have. So I want you to pretend again, because I know you have such a big imagination, that I just took this out of the freezer and I bent it, bend it a little bit to crack the ice and kind of break it away from the plastic. And I was able to pull out lots of what? What's going to come out of here if I bend it? Ice cubes. Very good. Well, how do we get ice cubes? Very good. If you're gonna make ice cubes in ice trays, you actually have to pour. Watch, I'll show you. You actually have to pour water, and I'm pouring water. I could pour some more. You have to pour the water in the trays, right? And so, well, what happens? What happens to all of that water that you pour into the ice trays? The environment changes it, correct? So here's all the water. You put this into a freezer where it's really cold, and then what will happen? Very good, it will freeze it. So if it's a frozen ice cube because the climate, the temperature changed, it got really cold, then what happens? Is the water going to be a liquid? No, it's going to be a solid. Very good. So we are learning that water can be a liquid or a solid. So since we're focusing on that, I thought we could actually draw an iceberg today. We can do this together. If we're going to draw an iceberg, then I'm going to want you to look at some pictures of landforms and bodies of water, because an iceberg is a landform. So let's look at pictures where we could see water in a solid form and a liquid form. So I'm going to show you some, okay? So, and I'll get up close. Here we have what? This is an ocean, very good. I'm going to show you some bodies of water. So really focus on the water for these. This is an ocean. Next, what do you notice here? That would be a lake. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you've ever been to a lake before, you'll know that this is much bigger than a pond, and usually there's land surrounding a lake, and it's very big, but the ocean is the absolute biggest. Now what's this? A river. Very good. And the rivers have water that, you know, it runs downstream. You could see the houses right here. That's how big this river is. Another body of water I'm going to show you. And these are all photographs, so this the art of photography. It's always nice. This is not a river, it's a creek. Notice, do you see houses like in the other picture? No, what do you see? You see lots of trees and bushes and plants. So you could actually probably step right into that creek and cross the other side, maybe even jump over it. So this is a creek. It's like a tiny, it looks like a river, but it's really small. Oh, now look at this. Now here we don't have water, bodies of water. This is an actual landform. Here is a really beautiful, this is called a glacier. This whole thing right here is a glacier. And basically it's frozen water, right? It's hard, it's made of ice, so this would be a solid. Now what happens when the climate changes and it gets warm, sometimes these pieces of glaciers break off and these huge pieces of ice fall into the water. That is when you get an iceberg like this. Isn't that nice? We are going to make an iceberg today. Now it's a landform, so, and it's definitely a solid. It's not a liquid, right? Because it's hard. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'll show you what supplies you will need for today. All right, so you're going to need a black sheet of paper and your box of crayons for this project. If we're going to make water, you're going to have blue, right? But you're also going to need white. If you're going to be using a black sheet of paper, you have to have white. Okay? Now, if you don't have black paper or white, then you can go to another option, which would be blue sheets of construction paper. Here are some blue sheets of construction paper. But again, besides your box of crayons with blue in there, you will also need white. If you do not have a white crayon, you can't use blue, you can't use the black paper or the blue. So now that would be your second choice, right? Let's go to your third choice. If you do not have a white crayon or black and blue paper, you could always use a white paper with your box of crayons and, you know, your colors of blue. And wherever we color white, you're just going to leave it white. So it just depends on what you have, but you definitely need crayons and you definitely need paper. I prefer you to use black. We're going to make an iceberg with a nighttime sky today. And if you don't have that, you can use blue and make your iceberg with a daytime sky, because daytime is a blue sky. And for both of those, you need white. If you don't have a white crayon, get a white sheet of paper. All right, so go ahead and get set up, and I will show you how to draw this. Right, so as you can see, up here I have a picture of an iceberg, we're going to borrow this picture just to get the shape of the iceberg. And we're also going to put it on the ocean, okay? Now, remember, I'm going to really focus on the black paper by creating a nighttime sky. I'll also show you what to do with any shade of blue paper. You're going to have a daytime sky. And here is a white sheet of paper that I got ahead, and I showed you how to create the iceberg with a sunset sky, the blue ocean, and basically I just colored very, very lightly for the iceberg. I left it mostly white. So I'll just put that there as an example so you'll see not to color the whole thing very dark, okay? All right, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do, and we're just going to use our crayons. I'm going to spend most of my time on this black paper, but I will show you how to work on the blue, and the white's already done. So we're going to focus on these two lines, curvy and wavy. And if you've been working with me, we have been using these since the beginning of the year. So first thing I want to do is about halfway, we are going to draw a straight line. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll use a white with your blue. I want you to pick up your blue. There you go. Okay? Pick up a blue no matter what paper you have. I'm just going to show you with the white. Draw a straight line going across. Now we're going to use a wavy line to draw the iceberg. All right? With a white crayon. Okay? So I'm going to use, about a little bit below the line that I just drew, I'm going to draw a straight line right in the middle, right below this line in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up and make three bumps. 1, 2, 3. Oop, my color broke. That's okay. And then as I do that, I'm going to bring it up and make a few more bumps and bring it back down. And there is my iceberg. I'm going to go ahead and color it in very lightly with a white. We don't want to press too hard. And so I'll redo it again. Underneath this line in the middle, we're going to draw a straight line, come up above the water and draw 3 bumps. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to use a curvy line with some wavy and come down here. See that? And same thing. You're going to color the whole thing white. So let's do that together. And obviously, I've already done it there. And that blue line, we can, I think you can actually erase that. But we're gonna add some blue. So just, you're going to color the whole iceberg white. Now I'm back on the black paper. I'm going to go very lightly, not too hard. So let's do this together. I'm going to fill in all the spaces because an iceberg is white. It's frozen water. Remember, it's a solid. Okay? All right. And so now what you're going to do is get a blue. I like using that turquoise blue, or you can get a darker blue. And I'm just going to lightly color throughout the ice. Just real light, just to kind of give it, there's some blue tints in there, right? Just very lightly, which means really soft. We're gonna add some blue to our iceberg. And you're gonna do the same thing here, you see? You're gonna add some blue in different places. Maybe a lot more in the middle, huh? So you can kind of cover that line, right? Now what I like to do is add a very dark line of blue on the bottom. You see that? Add a very dark line, because what it's doing is it's reflecting the water underneath. Okay? I'm gonna add some more. Just see, I prefer the black paper, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Isn't that neat? Doesn't that look cool? Either one, both of them look really cool actually. All right, so once you add that dark blue line on the bottom, then you can go back and take your white and you can press really hard. And what's going to happen is it's going to kind of mix the blue that you put on your paper already. You see that? I might even want to add a little more. I kind of like the blue areas here. Might put some more over here maybe. So yeah, so first we had, white very lightly, then we added blue lightly, and then from the bottom on up, we added a dark line of blue, and now we're adding white, we're pressing hard, which makes it dark. So we started off light, and now we're getting darker. And then that way your ice can stand out. We have a really nice looking piece of an iceberg. How's that? Is that good? All right. So next what you're going to do is color the water, because icebergs mostly are in the ocean. Now obviously if you have a blue paper, you're just going to lightly color the blue all over, and you can make some you can make waves, with your blue crayon on top. Okay, so you can finish that. And then if you have a black paper, you might have to press a little harder. So I'm going to mix both of my blues together on the black paper. Okay, and you want to press pretty hard, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do to this. So if you have a black paper, I want you to press fairly hard on your blues. You can mix up your blues, or you can just use one color. If you have a blue paper, you don't have to press as hard. Now, watch what happens. Now, obviously, this is going to be night, right? Now we can make some waves with our white crayon. Isn't that neat? Some little ones and some big ones, and I'm just going to lightly color white just to kind of make it a little bit lighter. You see that? And I can go back over it with blue. So we're just layering. If you have black paper, you're going to have to press very hard to show the blue. It just takes a little bit of time. And a lot of artists, when they're painting, they make water look real by adding white. So yeah, you could see. And keep in mind, it is nighttime. So I'm going to go back and add some more blue. All right, now here's the fun part. You get to be creative with the sky. If you have a nighttime sky or a daytime sky, like both of these, you can add clouds, right? And we could use white. And if it's a daytime sky, you can make a sun anywheres you would like and color it in. And since this is a nighttime, we can actually make a moon. So go ahead and make your clouds. You can make your clouds with wavy lines. And I'm going to make some fluffy clouds. I might just put one coming off the page here. That's what's neat about the white crayon. It works on both. And if you had the white paper, you can just make the sunset, and I kind of already showed you that. And now I'm going to take my white. I think I'm going to make a moon. I'm going to have the moon in between. It's a circle, right? So I'm using a curvy line. I'm going to color my moon nice and bright. I'm going to press hard. And my clouds were very light. Look at that. You could even maybe use a little bit of black. I know moons have like craters, and I'm just going to make some little bumpy designs. Oh, I'm happy with that. I think I might even put some stars in the sky. Now, would you put stars on a daytime sky? No, because that's daytime. The nighttime we have stars. I'm just going to make, you know, some little dots. So you can have fun decorating your, another cloud here. You can have fun decorating the sky the way you would like. So if you noticed, really, to get the iceberg, we had to mix what? White and blue. Very good. If you're not finished with your picture, you can keep working on it. But I think you are doing a fantastic job. I hope you had fun making your iceberg today with blue and or white. I'll put a cloud behind here. I'm just having too much fun. Thanks for joining me today. We learned about so many things. We learned about 3 types of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. We also learned how water can be a solid or a liquid. And we did this by drawing a landscape of an iceberg sitting in the ocean. And after I worked with you, I wanted to spend more time, so I went ahead and added more colors, as you can tell. So if you run out of time in class, you can always take it home to finish, just like I did. I had a lot of fun. And I'm super proud of you for drawing this landscape with curvy and wavy lines. I am also very proud of you for using that big imagination of yours to pretend that you saw steam coming from the pot and smoke coming from a candle whenever we were learning about gases earlier. And when you also used your imagination to pretend that you saw ice cubes in the ice trays, like they were really taken out of a freezer. As you go through your week, maybe you will notice objects in your home that are solids. Maybe you will be able to locate all kinds of liquids in your house. And maybe you'll also notice some steam rising from a pot while a grown-up is cooking. I hope you even have ice cubes too, and that you could see it in its solid state. And if you do have some, maybe you can put a few in a cup and see if the cube turns into liquid, which would be water, its liquid state. Because the sun, air, and ocean, water, when they get warm enough, did you know that the iceberg could actually melt? Just like your ice cube. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you next time.